Jose Rizal, in full, Jose Protasio Rizal Mercado y Alonso Realonda, born June 19, 1861, in Calamba, Philippines. Died December 30, 1896. He was a patriot, physician, and a man of letters who was an inspiration to the Philippine nationalist movement. Jose Rizal came from a wealthy family in Calamba, Laguna. Considered one of the largest families in those times, the 13-member family consisted of his father, Francisco Mercado II, his mother, Teodora Alonso Realonda, himself, 9 sisters, and 1 brother. Jose Rizal's father, Francisco, was the youngest of 13 children of Juan and Cirila Mercado. He was born in Binian, Laguna, studied in San Jose College of Manila, and died in Manila. Teodora, the mother of Jose Rizal, was a business-minded, religious, and hard-working individual who was born in Santa Cruz, Manila on November 14, 1827. She was the second child of Brigida de Quintos and Lorenzo Alonso. Teodora had Spanish and Japanese ancestors, while the father of Teodora was a half-Spaniard engineer known as Lorenzo Alberto Alonso. She studied at the Colegio de Santa Rosa. Teodora died in Manila in 1913. The parents of Jose Rizal were both farmers who were granted by the Dominicans with the lease of a hacienda together with a rice farm. Saturnina Rizal was the eldest of the offsprings of Francisco Mercado and Teodora Alonso Realonda. She married Manuel Hidalgo, who hailed from Tanawan, Batangas. The only brother of Jose Rizal was Pasiano Rizal and was the second child. Pasiano studied at the San Jose College in Manila and worked as a farmer and later as a general of the Philippine Revolution. The other sisters of Jose Rizal were Narcisa, Olympia, Lucia, Maria, Concepcion, Josefa, Trinidad, and Soledad. Soledad was the youngest child and later was married to Pantaleon Quintero. The Rizal surname was obtained by Francisco Mercado as suggested to him by a provincial governor after the Governor-General of the Philippines, Narciso Claveria, issued a decree in 1849 by which native Filipino and immigrant families were to adopt Spanish surnames from a list of Spanish family names. Jose Rizal also obtained the surname Rizal after dropping 3 other names that made up his full name. Jose Rizal also retained Protasio as his other family name. His family never actually recognized the Rizal surname, but Jose Rizal was forced to use it so that he can travel freely and disassociate himself from his brother Pasiano, who was notorious because of his links with the native priests who were executed after they were found to be subversives. Jose Rizal's first teacher was his mother, who had taught him how to read and pray, and who had encouraged him to write poetry. Later, private tutors taught the young Rizal Spanish and Latin before he was sent to a private school in Binian. When he was 11 years old, Rizal entered the Ateneo Municipal de Manila. He earned excellent marks in subjects like philosophy, physics, chemistry, and natural history. At this school, he read novels, practiced drawing, painting, and clay modeling, all of which remained lifelong interests for him. Rizal eventually earned a land surveyor's and assessor's degree from the Ateneo Municipal while taking up philosophy and letters at the University of Santo Tomas. Upon learning that his mother was going blind, Rizal opted to study ophthalmology at the University of Santo Tomas Faculty of Medicine and Surgery. He, however, was not able to complete the course because he became politically isolated by adversaries among the faculty and clergy who demanded that he assimilate to their system. Without the knowledge of his parents, Rizal traveled to Europe in May 1882. According to his biographer Austin Craig, Rizal, in order to obtain a better education, had to leave his country secretly, like escaping from justice, and his family, to save themselves from persecution, were compelled to profess ignorance of his plans and movements. His name was entered in Santo Tomas at the opening of the new term, with the fees paid, and Pasiano had gone to Manila pretending to be looking for his brother, whom he had assisted out of the country. Rizal earned a licentiate in medicine at the Universidad Central de Madrid, where he also took courses in philosophy and literature. It was in Madrid that he conceived of writing Noli Me Tangere. He also attended the University of Paris, and in 1887, he completed his eye specialization course at the University of Heidelberg. It was also in that year that Rizal's first novel was published in Berlin. Rizal is said to have the ability to master various skills, subjects, and languages. Our national hero was also a doctor, farmer, naturalist, writer, visual artist, and an athlete in martial arts, fencing, and pistol shooting. He is also a musician and social scientist. Rizal had been very vocal against the Spanish government, but in a peaceful and progressive manner. For him, the pen was mightier than the sword, and through his writings, he exposed the corruption and wrongdoings of government officials as well as the Spanish friars. While in Barcelona, Rizal contributed essays, poems, allegories, and editorials to the Spanish newspaper La Solidaridad. Most of his writings, both in his essays and editorials, centered on individual rights and freedom, specifically for the Filipino people. As part of his reforms, he even called for the inclusion of the Philippines to become a province of Spain. But among his best works, two novels stood out from the rest: Noli Me Tangere and El Filibusterismo. In both novels, Rizal harshly criticized the Spanish colonial rule in the country and exposed the ills of Philippine society at the time. And because he wrote about the injustices and brutalities of the Spaniards in the country, the authorities banned Filipinos from reading the controversial books. Yet, they were not able to ban it completely. As more Filipinos read the books, their eyes opened to the truth that they were suffering unspeakable abuses at the hands of the friars. These two novels by Rizal, now considered his literary masterpieces, are said to have indirectly sparked the Philippine Revolution. In 1896, Rizal was granted leave by the Governor-General Blanco after volunteering to travel to Cuba to serve as doctor to yellow fever victims. But at that time, the Katipunan had a full-blown revolution, and Rizal was accused of being associated with a secret militant society. On his way to Cuba, he was arrested in Barcelona and sent back to Manila to stand for trial before the court-martial. Rizal was charged with sedition, conspiracy, and rebellion, and therefore sentenced to death by firing squad. Days before his execution, Rizal bid farewell to his motherland and countrymen through one of his final letters entitled Mi Ultimo Adios, or My Last Farewell. Dr. Jose Rizal was executed on the morning of December 30, 1896, in what was then called Bagong Bayan, now referred to as Luneta. Upon hearing the command to shoot him, he faced the squad and uttered in his final breath, "Consummatum est." That means, it is finished. According to historical accounts, only one bullet ended the life of Filipino martyr and hero.